The ongoing Israel-Palestine conflict has left a deep and painful divide among Americans, with many expressing horror and concern over the escalating violence on both sides. As the conflict continues to make headlines around the world, Americans are grappling with their views on the situation, seeking answers and solutions to a long-standing and complex issue. On one side of the spectrum, there are those who express deep concern for the Israeli population as they endure rocket attacks and security threats. Israel's right to defend itself and its citizens is emphasized, with many expressing sympathy for those living under the constant threat of violence. Conversely, there is a significant and equally vocal segment of Americans who are deeply troubled by the loss of civilian life in the Palestinian territories. Reports of airstrikes and casualties in Gaza have sparked outrage, with numerous Americans demanding an end to what they view as disproportionate military action by Israel. They call for a peaceful resolution to the conflict and express concerns over the humanitarian crisis in the region. Neoconservatives, often known for their strong support of U.S. military intervention and a close relationship with Israel, have rallied in solidarity with the Israeli government. They emphasize Israel's right to self-defense against Hamas rocket attacks and express unwavering support for Israel's security and sovereignty. Prominent figures within the neoconservative movement have called for a strong U.S. stance in support of Israel, advocating for continued military aid and cooperation. On the other hand, the Make America Great Again, MAGA faction, which played a significant role in the 2016 and 2020 elections, presents a more divided stance on the Israel-Palestine conflict. Prominent MAGA Republican figures have taken differing positions, further underscoring the diversity of thought within this movement. MAGA Republican Laura Loomer has emerged as a prominent voice in support of Israel, aligning herself with the neoconservative viewpoint. She has been vocal in condemning Hamas attacks and has expressed staunch support for the Israeli government's actions, advocating for strong U.S. backing of Israel in the ongoing conflict. However, other content creators within the MAGA movement, such as Sticks, Hexenhammer, 666, and Rams Paul, hold a different perspective. They argue that America should prioritize its own interests and refrain from getting involved in foreign conflicts, including the Israel-Palestine conflict. Their position reflects a more isolationist approach, advocating for reduced U.S. military engagement and foreign aid in favor of domestic issues and interests. Tensions within the Liberal Party in the United States have reached new heights as deep divisions emerge regarding the ongoing Israel-Palestine conflict. President Biden's vocal support for Israel has placed him at odds with the majority of his party, which leans towards expressing greater solidarity with Palestine. The Black Lives Matter BLM movement recently faced backlash and lost support from some Democratic circles after uploading a controversial social media post. The post featured an image of a Hamas paraglider with the caption, "I stand with Palestine." The divisive image and message triggered strong reactions, especially among those who found it deeply offensive due to recent events involving paragliders and violence in Israel. Nearly 1,000 Hamas militants breached Israel's border wall on October 7, 2023. Many of the militants flew in on paragliders. Once Hamas gained access to Israel, they began executing innocent civilians. More than 1,000 Israelis were killed during the Hamas terror attack. Many were innocent civilians. As of right now, a total of 1,500 Hamas militants have been killed, and over 200,000 Palestinians have been displaced from Israeli airstrikes. The ADL is finding its organization in a bizarre situation. The ADL, also known as the Anti-Defamation League, is a strong supporter of Israel in this current war against Hamas, but the organization is also a supporter of BLM, which I just covered how BLM has sided with Hamas and the Palestinian population that largely supports Hamas. The ADL hasn't responded to BLM's support over Hamas and Palestine. The LGBTQ movement is bizarrely supporting Hamas and Palestine. Even though Hamas would most likely kill anyone who supports LGBTQ rights. That ends today's newscast. Remember, I'm the fake one reporting the news. You all are the real ones watching it happen.